Hey, what's up?
How are you?
Hey, cool. I can see you. I can hear you. I'm sorry about my video. Video sucks, but hey, I usually don't do video on this thing.
No worries.
So you're in LA?
I am
Nice. How's it going?
pretty good.
Sick, sick. I'm in Knoxville, Tennessee here. Used to live in LA. Used to try and do the LA musician thing, but lived out of my
Where,
car for most of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Where I was going to say where were you located in LA, but sounds like your car.
Well, yeah, but West LA for the most part. I mean, I couch surfed. I had friends. I was able to do like a what you call it, like a fuck for shelter kind of situation. Did that a couple of times. You ever have to do one of those?
I never got to do one of those.
I recommend it. You should do it before you die.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. So, I'm terrible at introductions, but Owen Hamlin, you are an indie musician. Do you identify as a West Coast musician? Devoutly West Coast?
That right. Yeah, no, that quote came from a music magazine and I just kind of took it. Um, I don't I don't like necessarily sort of say that I'm particularly West Coast or anything.
Mm.
Um, so no, I wouldn't say that I identify as a West Coast musician, but I can that's definitely a fair question based on that quote.
Yeah, your link tree was pretty impressive. It's like when you click the news and press, it takes you to like a 3-page Google Doc of everything that anyone's ever written about you. It's a lot of Google Docs. I mean, that's a lot of links.
Thanks. No, you do what you can. To be honest, the whole uh online as far as like people finding your music and coming into your orbit as an artist, discovering you through music magazines. I'm not so sure that that is happening so much. I think I'm not sure how valuable it is to have like music blogs write about you, but that was one of the areas that I thought I could get out and kind of try and uh, do marketing for. So definitely, definitely glad that I at least got some press attention. But again, I don't know that it's really done all that much for me.
So yeah, I totally get you. Especially with like publications like Loudermilk and stuff like that, where they don't really pay their writers, so they're kind of like, they're going to write about what they want to write about, and they're going to take whatever angle they kind of want. It's pretty much out of the artist's hands, so you don't
Mm-hmm.
have much. You can only do what you're going to do and deal with the motivation of them. So was that like? So you're like completely independent, right? You're like a total indie guy.
Um, So yeah, so as you're saying that they can take their own angles, that was kind of reminded me of this one music blog that did a article on my last single with a music video, and they were sort of saying like it was the worst review I got. Like they said they liked it enough to write a review about it, but then in the review it was like you know, they were sort of saying like, you know, well, most oddly was they said I was an advocate for mental health,
Oh,
and the music had nothing to do with that. So I'm really not sure where that came from. So I kind of brought that up to a couple of guys that I was rehearsing with or working with, and they're just sort of like it made sense to everyone, like that didn't make sense. So you get some of that, or at least that was my first one. But and then what was the other part of that question?
oh god, you're completely independent. I think.
Oh yeah. So I did have a deal with a independent record label based in Italy, um, for my first album.
How'd that come about? Just curious.
It came about through trying to find different labels that accepted submissions, sort of. And my reasoning was, you hear about all of your heroes, or in my case, all of my heroes, having record deals, and that's kind of like a pivotal point in their career. However, in our music industry, it's kind of the record label is kind of, it's a different music industry than it was years ago. So as far as, record deal meaning what it used to mean, it doesn't really mean that. So, kind of learned that lesson, maybe the hard way.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that I'm thinking about is I'm also an indie musician, and I right now have just decided, like you said, realizing we don't live in the world of the Beatles anymore. Shit, we don't even live in the world of Pearl Jam anymore. And Pearl Jam was probably one of the more successful of the the record label bands. But
yeah.
Recently with my band, I had this gig booked, and everybody in my band bailed 2 weeks before. And then so I had to form a new band because I wasn't going to cancel the date. So I formed a new band. We have one rehearsal. They canceled 4 days before the show. I ended up just 4 days before coming up with a completely different band. No rehearsal. We pulled the show off, but we didn't pull in the crowd. And that was sort of the shitty part, because the other people in that band, my band, also pull people in. So we could turn your crowd from 20 people to I don't know, 60, 70 on a Thursday night. But that's what matters to the bar owners. That's what's going to get me in there. This isn't about the quality of my work anymore. This is about, can we make these numbers? And same thing with record labels. Can I sell these numbers? Is this Thriller? Probably not. It's probably not.
Well, yeah, that's with the major record labels, who unfortunately have bought out all the indie record labels that were worth, anything. And so now you've got a few kind of at least from what I can tell, you've got a few of these indie record labels that are kind of just, what are they good for? Because you're laying out, which is absolutely correct. It's, at the end of the day, we love music, and that's why we do it. But there's just, a cold, hard business going on underneath it, which is, we don't really care about the music. How many people can you bring to the bar? How many followers do you have on TikTok? And that's the cold, hard interest of the business. And it sounds like we kind of have a similar kind of mindset about this. It's where does that leave us now? It's terrible. It's terrible. I mean, it's just getting worse. And it seems like, maybe in the 90s or maybe in the 80s, there was definitely bad stuff. You can talk to people that were alive then, and they'll sort of say, there was bad stuff then too. But, I don't think it's ever been as bad as it is for our generation, as far as the arts. For example, Indiana Jones or Star Wars, even, the new Indiana Jones, I just saw it, and a huge Indiana Jones fan, love it, absolutely love Indiana Jones, and saw the new one. And it's just they're relying completely on the studio, huge multi-million-dollar budget CGI. The story is lacking anything, and it's just we're gonna go with the trend, which is we're gonna have a strong female character, and we're going to kind of emasculate Indiana Jones, and it's just the same old garbage. And it's just like that in the music industry too. Let's throw money at it, and hire stuff based on TikTok views, sign people based off of TikTok views, and this is what we get. So it's a shitty time to be alive as an artist and as people who consume culture.
Yeah, well, you're living in it. You're living like dead in the center of like the disintegration of it all, where like it's just who's the hot topic this week, what's trending this week. Funny story. I actually saw Harrison Ford at a camping store on, I think it's on like Pico and Sepulveda. Funny enough, but yeah,
Did you
I'm not a fanboy by any means. So like the 2 years I lived out there, like I saw all kinds of celebrities and just like it didn't really faze me. But that one was just like I remember him being really tall, and then the lady at the checkout kind of be like, "Holy shit, that's Harrison Ford!" And I was like, "No way." But yeah, I feel you. So like, see, for me, moving to a smaller town like Knoxville, not knocking this town at all, but like it's really easy to find a niche. It's really easy because like everybody here plays the same bar songs, or they're playing bluegrass, or like, it's pretty typical Dolly Parton, whatever you would stereotype Tennessee as. That's kind of what it is here. So like if you have something that's a little bit different, you can kind of corner that market and find out and do that research. But for you, everything's already pretty full. What's that like as an artist, like trying to navigate, like finding your crowd and like getting that to work with you? And like, I'm sure most of your crowd doesn't use certain social medias and uses some over others, blah, blah, blah.
It's the same thing, same challenges that you're having. It's the cold hard business. How many people can you bring to the venue if you want to play a gig? That's
yeah. I can get clicks, I can get likes, but that's not people who are actually going to show up. And like 20,000 bot followers aren't going to actually be the guys buying your albums. So you got that going
and that
too.
Right. And then the clicks, the views, all that bullshit, that if you want to actually get a major label behind you, which is kind of what you need if you want to start to be on a bigger scale, you need to show those numbers on the internet. And how do you get those numbers on the internet? I mean, it's the girl with the big breasts, playing, you get like a fucking Metallica solo that's got 1 million views. And, come on. It's clickbait, small attention span, garbage culture. And, we're all responsible for it. Like, I'm going to click on that video too. But it's just, the way that the internet has affected the music industry is based on what I see and where we're at. It's terrible. I don't know. Hopefully they say it's cyclical and, so it will recover in a way, kind of a thing. We'll see, but this is what I'm picking up.
AI is doing vocal impressions of things now. So, yeah, we'll see. On a more positive note, how do you stay motivated? Because wait, do you have a day job, or are you like a full-time singer songwriter guy?
No, I'm a full-time, 7 days a week, critically unacclaimed musician.
Critically unacclaimed, but you're full-time 7 days a week in LA. That's awesome, and you're not sleeping under a fridge. That's even like, because that was my move. I was gonna say just like buy a house, rent every space you can, put your fridge on a platform, cut out like a little hole so you could sleep under $200 a month. Get like really every dollar you can out of a house if you stretch it. But yeah. So how do you stay motivated? What keeps you going?
Well, like I said, and I assume that it's probably why you play music and continue to play music, is a genuine enjoyment in doing it.
Yeah. There's also a bit of, I can't not, like when I worked for the National Park Service for a little bit, and I moved to San Diego to do that. And in those 6 months, I did nothing musical, but I still found myself like finding a guitar, bringing it out on pitches with me and like playing it, and still finding some way to keep at it and keep doing it. And so I was like, I realized, okay, this is what I'm going to do, whether I'm getting paid or not. Might as well get paid to do it. And then it's been kind of upwards from there.
Well, and you wouldn't have brought your acoustic guitar unless you wanted to do it, kind of a thing. Maybe. I mean, I don't know, but sounds like you enjoy doing it, so you do it.
Yeah. See, I'm not really an acoustic guy, and that was another thing. Like when I was in LA, I was like super out of whack because I was like trying to do the singer-songwriter thing, and That's not me at all. I finally got it down, and it's in my back pocket. If somebody puts a gun to my head and goes, "Hey, sing Neil Young," but like, I'm back on track with like what I do. I'm more what you call it, jazz guitarist, which sounds pretentious as hell, but means I play random notes and sometimes I make them sound good. That's like how that works. So how did you start, by the way? When did you start playing guitar? When did you start being a musician? What was that like? Your origin story, I guess.
Um, Kind of like most young guys, you see guitars and you're kind of mystified by them.
Mm.
I don't know if it's, growing up with Guitar Hero or
That helped.
exactly where I first saw it. But yeah, just kind of something about guitars. I think I did definitely like music, hearing it, some music more than others. Pop music, but pop music via rock music being guitar focused music. And then, finally got a guitar and started kind of figuring it out naturally, and then enjoyed doing it. So kept doing it more and more. And kind of along the way, started writing my own things. And yeah, just a
Nice.
natural progression.
Nice. I went, I don't know, like a year or two without TV when I was like in 5th grade. And yeah, Guitar Hero was around. And I was tired of reading books, and like the classics, I think, are just a nicer word for boring, because some of them are cool, but 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea can stay there. I boring. So I picked up the guitar instead because I couldn't pick up another freaking book, and I just didn't put it down. And then I did all the wrong things over the years. And then finally, somebody was like, "Hey, you suck." I'm like, "Oh, well, that's not nice," but I did suck. And I had to like unlearn all the other things that I was doing. And then like for years, I've been either the bass player or the drummer in a band, but now I'm finally the guitar player, and I'm finally like buying pedal boards and doing all the things that like would make me groan. Like I used to be like, "Oh God, I don't want to hear about your Fender clone. I don't even know what that is." But now I'm getting into it. Are you a big gear guy?
Same as you, where I was kind of sort of like could not care less about pedals. And then at a certain point it was like, I was doing some recording, and I have this great amplifier, vintage Fender Deluxe Reverb, which is, a completely holy grail of an object. But it's a great clean sounding amp. And so I was about to go into, producing my first record. And so I had a need for pedals, because I was sure as hell not doing DI, especially not with this great amp. So then I went down the rabbit hole of pedals, and it's the way I look at it. Well, Keith Richards says, which I think is a great way to think about it. You want the musical equipment to be like tools, not toys. So I genuinely needed them as tools. And that's kind of what started my pedals. That's good. But then you go down the rabbit hole, and it's like, then you kind of get lost in like, is the pedal playing it or am I playing it? And then you kind of go, I need another pedal. I need more pedals, more playing. But then you kind of have to find that balance of like, I'm playing it, the pedal is the tool, and just kind of, finding those sounds that are your go-tos. And then I think they're really helpful, if just helpful to have a big palette of sounds that you can experiment with, or especially if you need a certain kind of thing.
Good. I would also call it the rabbit hole of pedals. It's very, yeah, it sucks you in. I was like on the precipice, and now I'm like, oh God, I can't stop. So just curious. So do you have help with all the like separate channels of things that you're doing, or are you fully like, are you the guy that books your own gigs and then you're also what you call it, doing all your social media and then also, showing up to the things and playing and writing and performing and stuff? Is it all you, or do you have a team?
It's all me. Yeah. I'm not a huge social media guy by any means. So, that's not too much of a thing, but yeah, I'm organizing it all, and whatever's there is kind of a product of my output, which I think there's an integrity to, but an integrity that, hopefully more people can see. And so how do you do that? But, it is what it is.
Cutting through the noise is what's so hard, is when you're just doing it by yourself, you're not having that like somebody pushing it so you can always get those numbers up every day and stuff. So you're not like with the album you just released, right? Like, are you waiting until you hit a certain number before you release another one, or are you just going to release another one when you feel like it? What's that like?
So I just started by doing it. I think my first single came out about 2 years ago now, just over 2 years ago, which is kind of hard to believe, but I had a music video for it, and then a song that was going to be, the album was finished being recorded, and it was like, well, instead of just releasing the album all at once, the whole releasing one at a time seemed like a good idea. And then it was like, I've got the first song, the music's already recorded, but a lot of it had to do with the music videos. So it was like, because those take a lot of time to kind of get everything together for that. I should say I did not, that's not all me. I didn't like a lot of those. I played a part in it, but it was not like, I did not create the whole thing. So, I guess my concept as far as like releasing is like one single at a time. I finish the records kind of way ahead of the game because I can control all that. And then the big logistical factor is figuring out the music videos, or at least it has been to this point. And then I'll do single with a music video, and then try and keep it within like a 2-month period. I think is a good amount of time for people to have the first single with the video, and then let a month go by and then do another one. So with my current album, I just released a single on May 23rd with a video, and I've got another one coming on the 23rd of this month. July will be the second single off of what will be my second album. That's kind of how I do it.
Exciting stuff. What's like your vision for your music career? Where do you want to end up, hopefully by the end of your journey? Have you thought about it?
Oh yeah. I think about it all the time. Of course you don't pick up a guitar as a kid and just picture yourself playing in your bedroom. You definitely kind of have, every kid, sort of sits there with the guitar, and it's like, you kind of envision this giant stadium. And, so I would love to be able to play like, big festival, at least once in my life, to, fulfill that desire that I think every kid has. I just love to be able to play music live, hopefully to people that are interested. And if they're not interested, all I ask is that they're maybe not drunk, sort of like falling asleep at a bar stool kind of a thing. And I'd love to be able to travel around and do it, and yeah. And it would be great to do it on a big level.
I I'm still at the as long as the bills get paid and I'm not working a real job, I'm happy. I mean, I will admit I
Sure.
teach during the day, but I am teaching music,
Uh-huh.
so that does make me at least like that gives me some sort of fulfillment for the meantime. I've taken some weird gigs though. Like, what's the weirdest gig you've ever taken? Like just weird, like not normal.
Like where I'm actually performing, kind of a thing.
Yeah, performing in a very unconventional setting.
Um. Hmm. Hmm. Well, it sounds like you've done a few, so why don't you go first? Maybe that'll bring something to mind.
Well, July 29th, I booked a gig at the Tennessee Testicle Festival, which I didn't even know that was a real fucking thing. I like the first one started in Illinois and I Googled it and then I was like, shit, is there a Tennessee one? Oh, there is. I'm like, oh, who's their person? And then like I get a call back. Um, so I got that coming up, but I'd say, let's see, weirdest. Played at a Sitgo once. That was pretty weird. Like my friend was the manager and he's like, "Hey, it's pretty dead. You want your band to come play at the Sitgo?" I was like, "Fuck, I don't care." Um, let's see. There's one more that's like in my mind that's like super weird. Uh, it was at some hemp festival that nobody showed up to because it was raining. And I packed like, I don't know, 6 people, a drum set, like a full band's equipment into a Prius. And like there was one dude like just literally sitting on 3 people's laps. That was pretty weird. I don't know. I'll call that one. I'll call that one for the weirdest. Unless this testicle festival is just completely mind blowing and
It'll
something I've never
that'll
seen.
be weird. That'll be weird. I wouldn't worry about that. That's definitely gonna break your record.
Always got to outdo myself. That's the main goal. Um,
That's it.
but yeah, no, you haven't had anybody's party or anything that was just like I don't know, Freemason event. Freemason events are pretty weird. I've never played one, but
I don't know that I've had anything that's like particularly weird. I've definitely have some like funny stories of stuff that's happened playing. Um, One time in so this would have been last September. I was playing this gig at a bar in Long Beach, which is a little south of Los Angeles. Um, and the bar is like they specialize in cider. So I was like, that's kind of I like apple cider a lot. That's probably pretty cool alcoholic apple cider. That would be a good place to play. And I saw they did live music, so that was basically my thinking on why I booked the gig. And so we're playing, and it's kind of an older crowd, and they're not too interested. And we get through our set, and they we're playing great. But they kind of want us to turn down a little bit, and
they always
we're
do.
kind of yeah, yeah, and it's always the guitar amp too. Like the drums are always the drums are always loud, and then your guitar is like at that level where hopefully you're kind of audible at that point with the drums, and they're like, yeah, turn down the guitar amp, and then you just got loud ass drums.
Oh,
Anyway, so we're playing, and we get through all of our set, and they kind of want us to keep playing, and it's kind of a dead night, so I don't really want to keep playing, but I'm like, all right. So I'm playing the last song, and it's I'm not really a cover guy. That's just there are plenty of people that do that. I've got original songs, and I definitely like to play other people's songs, but I kind of for me it's like it's better for me to play my own songs. So anyway, this is the last song though. I'm doing Hound Dog, Elvis Presley, and it's on this end. So, you ain't nothing but a hound dog, just fucking getting it out there. And there's a little anger, little resentment, like I'm playing here, these people don't really give a shit. And, so, maybe on some kind of level like that, what I was putting out came back to me. And this lady comes in and she starts like, I'm full on into it. She goes up to my amp and I'm sort of looking out of the side of my eye. She's playing with the knobs on my amp, and I'm thinking this lady's just pardon my French, a bitch, and she's like, you suck, and she's trying to turn me down. It gets more violent. My tremolo is going crazy. I'm playing through it. And so this lady finally, she just like shoves over my amp, and it like the reverb chamber just lets out this like crazy noise. I'm just like, oh no, like this is my good amp. And this lady, subsequently I looked, there's actually a clip of it on YouTube. Luckily I got this on video. So I looked, and she has one of those ankle bracelets on for house arrest. So this was like a crazy tweaker lady, that got out of her house on house arrest and she wasn't even in the bar. She came off the street. And so I'm like, why? I was just genuinely like, what just happened? Why did you do that? She's like, you called me hound dog. Like she thought I was talking to her, the Elvis Presley song.
Oh,
so that was one pretty good story.
Hey, that's more evidence that you're a mental health advocate. Gotta love that long beat mental illness.
There you go.
Dick. I can't believe I miss the California craziness, man. Y'all are out there doing the crazy shit. Are you originally from LA? Are you originally from that area?
Yeah. Yep.
Wow. That's like you never meet these people. You people don't exist. Because it's such a transplant place, especially for musicians. Like finding somebody who's actually like from SoCal that's like not good for you. Wow. Well, look at you. You're rare. You're a rare person over here. Is that an X-Files poster behind you there?
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. My friend got to see David Duchovny open for Green Day last year, and he kept sending me videos. If you haven't seen David Duchovny's band, which did you even know? Did you even know?
I did. It's horrible.
Yeah, it is. I think when you have that much money, you can just do whatever you want, and people will buy the name.
Yeah. More power to him. If he wants to get up there and sing with that voice, he can do it. But when you're Fox Mulder and Hank Moody, that's kind of a standard of excellence. I think he's also a writer. Like he's trying to write books and stuff. But no, the X-Files is a classic.
Yeah, for sure. We had Kevin Costner come here and play recently. I didn't know he was in a band either.
I could see Kevin Costner being a decent like country musician, but I have no idea.
That's about right. I didn't go see it, but yeah, that's about what it was. Kevin Costner and I don't know, the Boot Scooters or something. Do you have any other covers that you like to play? I'm totally with you on I don't like playing covers. I've done it. I've been in cover bands before. You got to do what you got to do. Some of them are better than others, especially like the last one I was in. We were doing, what's the Blame It All on My Boots, Friends in Low Places, stuff like that. And I was just like, that is so not me. I have to be like, But yeah, any covers that you do like or don't like?
Yeah, no, that's the thing about covers. You want to find the ones that you genuinely enjoy playing. But I understand if you're in a cover band and you're trying to, make your rent or whatever, like you're going to play what they want you to play. So no harm with that, but the matter. And you've got original music, at least in my case. It sounds better when I'm playing my original music. It's just better. But I do love to play covers. Generally blues music. Love, as more recently, I got into the 50s, Buddy Holly, Elvis, that kind of stuff, which was before chronologically, that was before. Well, not necessarily. I got into Robert Johnson and that early kind of fingerstyle blues. But that's from the 30s. So I really like Robert Johnson. I went through a time, 2019-ish kind of thing where I was going to blues jams around town and also like open mic kind of shit. And I'd sit down and do like a Robert Johnson song. And, that was pretty fun. So generally lean towards blues music and Yeah.
Yeah, if you find yourself in East Tennessee on a Wednesday night, I just started a blues jam with a bunch of guys. So and nobody's showing up. So it's a house band playing for 3 hours, which is just great. I love it. Love blues jam for 3 hours every Wednesday night. So please come and take over if you ever find yourself in East Tennessee. How was COVID for you as a musician? Just curious. What was that like?
Real fast. So is this a jam you run, or is this what is this blues jam? Tell me about this blues jam.
Yeah, it's we had like a 2-3 week trial period with the owners of this bar, and they were like, it's too loud the first 2 times. And then all my friends who were musicians, when I told them about the blues jam, they were like, did you have an issue with the volume at that place? Because I won't play there anymore. I'm like, oh, okay. So they do this to everybody. Interesting. And we solved the problem. We're running pretty much everything into a PA and no individual amps. Drums are like the only like thing getting like louder that not in the PA. Anyways, yeah, it's just this blues jam that me and 3 other people are doing. I don't run it. My friend does, but I'm the guitar player for now until, we can actually get more people who come and I don't have to play 3 hours a night. I am getting paid. I'm not complaining. It's a lot of fun. Great practice. Love ripping these solos. I'm listening to all kinds of songs that, it's like my dad loves the blues, and I grew up with my dad listening to it all the time. So I've always just kind of written it off as my dad's music. So it's actually kind of nice getting to like play it. Yeah.
Cool, man.
Yeah. But yeah, how was COVID for you as a musician?
COVID was, really good because it gave me some time to focus and finish some stuff that needed or not needed to be finished, but it just kind of was a great sort of catalyst for my musical career, because it led to me doing my first album. Long story short, I was recording a different album at the time, which I thought was going to be my first album. It was a bit of a commute to get to this studio, and it was taking forever to finish. So I was like months and months into this project that I thought was going to be my first album. And then when COVID happened, I couldn't continue work on that. And that was like a nightmare because I was trying so hard to finish it. And so because I couldn't, I had all this kind of pent up energy of, already wanting to finish this other album. I was like, I kind of had to go somewhere. And basically it led to me finishing some stuff that ended up being my first album. And this other album that I thought was going to be my first, I had to just throw it out. I did end up finishing it after COVID, but just didn't work. And it was kind of a godsend that I had, I guess looking back at it, that everything happened the way it did because I was able to finish something and kind of get my thing together. So it was good for me. Sick.
It's kind of funny you say that about you were recording one album and then ended up recording a completely different one, because it happens sometimes, and COVID was a great time for that.
Yeah.
That's kind of the thing about this podcast. This was me and a friend, and actually a bunch of my friends. We started this in high school, and then we didn't fucking like follow through. And California was just where I ended up. I traveled the U.S. living out of my car kind of deliberately on like one of those weird white guy hippie jam band soul searching things. Did that for a couple of years, and then was like, yeah, I got to go to California because that's where it's at, man. Oh boy. Well, I wasn't really doing the podcast at that point. I was getting fucked up and hanging out at my friend's apartment in West LA a lot, and we were kind of recording that, but that wasn't really a podcast. And then during COVID, Zoom became a thing, so we were able to like really revive it. And then I wasn't sure what we were going to do. Like, we tried a bunch of different things, and like the reason we even started this podcast is we're all musicians with a bunch of recording equipment. Like, I got all kinds of stuff. So we were like, might as well, everybody's got one. And then I kind of this year was tired of like, I had a bunch of interviews last year with a bunch of randos, and we're about to do it again with a bunch of randos. So you're actually my first interview of the season right now. So thanks for being on here. But I was like, what can I, like I said, I'm not really into it as much, but what I wanted to do was make an open source music platform for musicians. So basically, instead of me just plugging my own stuff and, hey, listen to all these beats I made on Reaper when I was 15, like, I'm going to put it out there, see who wants to send me their stuff, and let's see who can feature it. And so far, we've run this whole year on people all over the place's stuff. My tactic has been going to different Craigslists and posting ads for it. Like, so I pick a different city every week. Some cities, they take me down. Some days they take me up. Otherwise, I pull from my network that I personally know, or sometimes just shit falls in my lap. I'm pretty sure you found me on Craigslist. Probably.
Yeah, I saw an ad. I was doing a PR campaign, thinking that getting on, and that's how it came.
Makes sense. Yeah, I guess my only last question for you, because it kind of ties in with your PR campaign thing there, is like, so what was networking like for you with other musicians? Did you find any like meaningful relationships with anybody? Have you found any like long lasting or maybe even mentorships with other musicians around? Or has it just been kind of like you meet somebody, it is what it is, and you just kind of keep going and like, oh, hey, I know that guy?
No, I've never been one for, the whole thing of just playing with guys and you're not really buddies with them, but you play music together. I kind of like to be friends with the guys that I play music with. That started my first year of college. I went to Barcelona, Spain, and just happened that the place I was living there, I had some guys that ended up being some of my closest friends that were living in the same hostel as I was, and yeah. Still keep in touch with those guys. Love those guys.
Nice.
Got a new group together. Unfortunately, people live in different places, and as you know, logistics and just life pulls people in different directions. So at the moment, I've got a new 4-piece group together, including myself. Is one of the 4 pieces, and
Nice.
we're rehearsing again later this afternoon here, and got a gig coming up on Tuesday. Which
Where at?
It's in a bar called Cinema Bar in Culver City. I never played there. Don't really know much about it, but we'll see. And it's on a Tuesday night, so we're just kind of breaking in the new group. But yeah, looking forward to it.
Hey, look, if you could pack 50 people in that place on Tuesday night, what you would make in tips is going to be crazy. Think about it. And you have hella pull if you can pull 50 people on a Tuesday night. Speaking of, where can people find you? Are you on the websites? Do you have a website? Do you got a Venmo? Where can people donate to your cause for just pennies a day?
You can check me out on Spotify, all the Apple Music, all the streaming platforms. And at least I have my first album up there, and then soon to be another single, which will be the second single off of my next album. You can basically just search my name on Google, and it should come up with all the different stuff that you would need as far as like social media and all that.
You are very Googleable. Well, thanks for your time. I appreciate you. Glad we could connect over some of the stuff.
Yeah, man.
All right, cool. Have fun at rehearsal.
Thanks, man. All the best to you.
Thanks. See ya.